Kennen is still amazing. Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to another Wild Rift video. And in today's video I'm gonna show you guys how to make this little guy absolutely dominate the enemy in your game. So there's timestamps in the description if you want to just skip to the gameplay. In the beginning part of the video I'm going to explain to you guys how to build him. A lot has changed in his build part, by the way, compared to my old Kennen videos, and I'm exactly going to explain to you guys how to decide what to build on this champion. So let's get into it. I tried out many different builds. Let me first tell you about what you don't want to go for anymore, which is the Liandry's. So Liandry's used to be Kennen's core item, but they nerfed Liandry's. And while Liandry's is still good on some champions, you just don't want to go for it on Kennen anymore. Just not worth it anymore. It's literally not worth it. So as simple as that, don't go Liandry's. So then you basically have 3 items that you can get as your first item. 3. The first one is Rabadon's Death Cap. The second one is the Infinity Orb. And the third one is the Green Book. These are the 3 items that you can get first as a Kennen. There is a 4th one, however. Let me quickly show you the 4th one and tell you why I don't like it, which is the Haunting Guys. So this item got nerfed as well, which doesn't make it worth on Kennen anymore. You just don't want to be playing Kennen like the old Kennen anymore. You know, the old Kennen would not only deal burst damage, but also some sort of sustained damage. You know, you would go into a fight for a little bit, stack up the Hunting Guys, and it would give you 10% bonus damage, and then you could use your ultimate. The way that you play Kennen now is you full burst. Full burst. You completely blow up the enemy. So let me explain to you guys which item you should build. Are you against a matchup that has a lot of healing, and does the enemy have a healing support like a Nami or something like that, or a Soraka? You can choose to go for a Green Book first. The reason that a Green Book is really good first of all, gives you a lot of HP, gives you a decent amount of ability power, gives you flat magic penetration. The 15 flat magic penetration is amazing in the early game, and of course the Grievous Wounds. So you only really want to get this item if the enemy has a lot of healing. And the reason that you want to get the full item and not only the Oblivion Orb is because if you only go for an Oblivion Orb and then for a Rabadon's Death Cap, it's basically gonna cost you 5,000 gold to get a full item, because the Oblivion Orb is 1,000 gold, boots are gonna be 500 gold, and then a full Rabadon's Death Cap is gonna be 3,500 more gold. Basically, you're already gonna be way after the first dragon, and you're not even gonna have a whole item yet. And tier 3 items are amazing. But if you get the Green Book, it's going to cost you 3,000 gold only. So that's why if you go for anti-healing, finish off the Green Book. So now let's talk about the next item that you could go for first, which is the Infinity Orb. This item doesn't give a lot of ability power. It gives 60 ability power, 200 bonus max health, 15 flat armor penetration, 5% bonus movement speed. This is all amazing. But the whole thing that the whole reason that you get this item is this right here. Abilities and empowered attacks critically strike for 20% bonus damage against enemies below 35% health. This item is broken against squishy enemies. And just like the Green Book, it has flat magic penetration, which is insanely good in the early game and only becomes worse and worse and worse in the late game. So again, if you want that, you know, the crit damage, you won't actually get it from any item here. You have to finish the full tier 3 item, this one, to get it. And this crit, keep in mind, you're not gonna have a lot of base damage when you get this item. This item is only meant for finishing off enemies. So when do you get this item? If your team has champions like Ziggs, like Varus, like Orianna, you know, just champions that have poke. If your team has poking champions, you get the Infinity Orb first. And I'm going to ask you guys right now to test your knowledge and let me know why I am saying this. Why am I telling you that you should, like, if your team has a lot of poking, you should always start with the Infinity Orb on Kennen. Pause the video right now, test your knowledge in the comments, think, why would I need this item if my team has a lot of poke? And why would this item not really be worth it if my team doesn't have a lot of poke? Pause the video, put it in the comments, and I'm going to say it right now in 3, 2, 1. The reason is, if your team has a lot of poking, they will very likely get a few enemies at like 50, 60% HP, you know, at a low amount of HP. What's gonna happen then is if you engage with your ultimate and like you're all in, basically, you guys know Kennen's all in, you're gonna get the enemies very quickly below 35% health, you know, that threshold that you need, and then your ability power is gonna critically strike for 20% bonus damage. Basically, you are gonna destroy him. It's gonna be the same as having like 4 infernal dragons pretty much. So keep that in mind. Infinity Orb if your team has poking. Otherwise, if they don't have significant healing, your team doesn't have much poking, you start with the Rabadon's Death Cap. They nerfed Rabadon's Death Cap, but it's still worthy of a first item on Kennen. So you start with the Rabadon's Death Cap, and any item you go, second, the boots that you want to get is Ionian Boots of Lucidity. If you do not start with the Rabadon's Death Cap, you want to get it as your second item, definitely. Always going to be worth it. Third item is going to be a Void Staff, pretty much always. Unless the enemy is super duper squishy. What is my cable doing? Come on, stop. Unless the enemy is super duper squishy, then you can actually opt to go for a green book third item because it has even more flat magic penetration. So, you know, this item is basically situational. I almost always go for it, but it is situational. Then as your you have another item that you can go for, which is the Crystal Reflector. You can go for this as your third or fourth item. You can even go for it as your first item, I'll tell you later why. If the enemy has a lot of physical damage champions and they're really demolishing you, you go for the Crystal Reflector. It's going to give you a lot of defense. You can go for this item as your first item with only one condition. If the enemy is full attack damage, you go for the Crystal Reflector first. And then for your very last item, I have a Banshee's feel here. Like as I said, it's completely situational. Whatever you need, you go for. If the enemy has a lot of ability power, or if they have annoying stuns, you know, like if they, for example, have a Varus that's ulting you every single time you want to engage, you get the Banshee's view and it's going to block his ultimate. Really, really good item. The enchantment that you want to get, there are 2 enchantments that you go for on Kennen. First of all, Protobelt. Use the Protobelt if you want to play very aggressively. You know, if you want to use your ultimate and Protobelt even further into the enemy, then you buy the Protobelt. If the enemy has the ability to completely burst you down when you engage, you go for the Stasis enchant. Very easy. When you use your Stasis, it's not going to cancel your ultimate. So, you know, you can engage with ultimate and flash in the middle of the enemy and then just use Stasis enchant and they can't kill you. So for the runes, you want to go for Electrocute. You can go for Conqueror, which it's good, but Electrocute fits the best with the current playstyle of Kennen, which is blowing up the enemies. The second rune, you have many runes that you can go for. The first one is Brutal. Brutal is just always going to be a good rune. Going to give you nice early game damage and also nice decent late game damage. Second rune is Gathering Storm. Not going to give you a lot of early game damage, but it allows you to like one-shot even harder in the late game. You can go for Triumph if you want to be like more focused on team fights. You know, if you want to engage and the enemy has champions like a Jinx or whatever, you know, champions that can slowly take you down, you want to get a Triumph to stay alive. Or if you're a real chat, you can even go for Champion Rune. Champion is actually really good on Kennen, but I just don't like Champion Rune anymore. I never really want Champion anymore because it only gives you 8% bonus damage compared to the 10% that it used to give. So my recommendation, either Brutal or Gathering Storm. The third rune depends. Again, Adaptive Carapace is my favorite because this allows you to easily win your lane matchup with Kennen. Kennen is quite strong in the early game, and Adaptive Carapace is going to make you even stronger. This is the strongest early game rune that you can get in the third runes, in the Resolve runes, because it gives you 50 health, which is a lot in the early game, and when you get below 50% health, it gives you either 12 armor or magic resist, depending on what damage the enemy is dealing. You can of course get a Hunter Titan if the enemy has a lot of stuns, but Adaptive Carapace is just generally gonna be better. And for your fourth one, you go for Sweet Tooth because Sweet Tooth is broken. I mean, yeah, Sweet Tooth. Well, actually, no, wait. Sorry, I'm so sorry. You don't go for Sweet Tooth on Kennen. I have no idea why this is here, to be honest. You don't go for Sweet Tooth. You actually always go for Hunter Genius. Sorry guys, Sweet Tooth is broken, but you don't go for it on Kennen, because Kennen doesn't need energy. So you actually always go for Hunter Genius to get the cooldown of your ultimate low. I'm so sorry, like, brain fart. You always go for Hunter Genius. For the spells, you go for Flash and Ignite. So that was it about the build. Let's now get into the gameplay. Let me see if it works. Come on. Sorry guys. I'm having some issues with this Samsung phone. The cable is new, but the phone is a Samsung. But okay. Is the sound working? Yeah, it is. Alright, let me just get a zip of... You know what? I'm just quickly gonna get some water, guys. I wanna say though, I'm doing a 15 skin giveaway this month. All you gotta do to enter is put down a comment under this video and under some other videos. And while you do that, I'm quickly gonna get myself some water. Give me a second, guys. Alright. So with Kennen, there's actually two ways that you can start off the game at level 1. Let me explain. This might be like a boom moment for you guys. Oh, look at this, by the way. Wait, I want to go back here and quickly explain to you guys how I did that, because this is very important before I talk about the two ways that you can start. So let's quickly go back into the video and explain to you guys how I was able to very easily stun this Olaf even though he was under his minions. So take a look. Look at the stacks that I have under my champion. 2, 3, 4, 5 goes on Olaf, second ability. I got super close to him, which would normally be my death against a melee champion, because of course as a ranged champion you want to stay as far away as you can, but with a cannon you can stun them. But the only way that I could stun him with my shuriken is if I got close to him, so that's why I took that trade. And as you can see, I came out favorable. I'm even flashing. Yes! Yes! What a nice skill! Ah! So as a cannon, you can play super aggressive in the early game. I'm even running Gathering Storm in this game, by the way. So now let's talk about the other way that you can start level 1. This is the first way, which is taking your first ability, but there is another way. And the second way is insanely aggressive. And let me tell you, when you try the second way for the first time, you're probably gonna int and die. Second time, you're probably gonna die as well. But the third and fourth and fifth time, you're gonna be like, wait a minute, this can work. So let me tell you what it is, which is starting with your third ability. HellsDevil, what the hell is he saying? Why the hell would you start your third ability on Kennen? Let me tell you. First of all, your third ability deals basically just as much damage as your first ability in the early game. Second reason, it gives you movement speed. But third reason, and most importantly, it gives you bonus attack speed for the next few seconds. So on top of the AP damage that you're dealing, which you would have dealt with your first ability as well, you actually get bonus movement speed. So you can either play it offensively, right? Like you can either get behind the enemy, oh look at that dirty little stun, or you can get away from the enemy just to hit it. And when you get away, you have bonus attack speed. Boom, 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 boom. You basic attack. In the early game, especially, like if you guys didn't know already, I believe 2 or 3 patches ago, Kennen got a buff to his... Oh, nice, that was worth. But if you didn't know already, 2 patches ago or 3 patches ago, Kennen actually got a buff to his base attack damage. The base damage on his attacks. So his base attacks, basic attacks do more physical damage. And this buff was, if you look at it from level 1, it's actually like a 12% buff, 12%. That is why it is now viable to upgrade your third ability in the early game. I really like to do it in certain situations. If, for example, I can wait in a bush and the enemy face checks that bush, I get my third ability, not my first ability. Because then I can surprise the enemy and do a lot of damage. So yeah, you know, those are the two ways that you can do. The second way is a little harder to pull off, but it's more rewarding. The first way is basically the safe way, which I did in this game as well, because I didn't really get a good opportunity to go on the Olaf, so I just did the safe way. Here you can see, when you get level 5 with Kennen, you unlock your ultimate, right? It is actually very risky to use your ultimate before the dragon. So take a look, I'm going in, he actually uses his ultimate. I went in, of course, because the Lee Sin was here, but the Lee Sin just missed. So what I was saying is it's risky to use your ultimate before the dragon spawns, because you're never going to have your ultimate back when the dragon spawns. As you can see, dragon spawns at 4 minutes and I still have 15 seconds to go on the cooldown. So, you know, you have to decide yourself, hey, is it really going to be worth to use my ultimate in the lane? Is it really going to be worth to get a kill on the enemy and sacrifice my team fighting potential during the first dragon? Very likely it is not. And it is so not worth it that, you know what I do sometimes on Kennen? Like if the Olaf, for example, if this Olaf uses his ultimate and would kill me, and if I could have killed him with my ultimate, sometimes I don't even use my ultimate. I die on purpose just so I still have my ultimate for the dragon fight. That's how you need to think, guys. I was actually using Sweet Tooth in this game. Why? You never want to use Sweet Tooth on Kennen, guys, never. I think I had a little bit too much alcohol this evening or something, because never, ever, ever, ever do you want to go for a sweet tooth on Kennen. Never. I got my rabbit on. I have my ultimate, guys. This is the perfect setup for Kennen. This is what you need. Why are they engaging without me? Can they stop, guys? They should wait for me. Oh my god. I'm waiting for the perfect ult. I'm going in it because my... Oh my god, I just got the Ezreal over the wall right there. That was amazing. Damn. I am absolutely destroying these enemies. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Oh my baby. What a disgusting little kill right there. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. No, he's 1 HP. I should have killed him as well. That is so unlucky. Oh. Oh, he got him. Okay, that's fine. Oh, I really made the best out of that one. So, I'm gonna sip my water again, and after that, I'm gonna explain to you guys how to approach teamfights with Kennen. Basically, what your role is gonna be as a Kennen in teamfights, because it's incredibly important to understand your role in a teamfight as a Kennen, because otherwise you're gonna absolutely suck at this champion. So give me a second. I don't know why I'm so thirsty suddenly, huh? So, Kennen is a burst champion, which means, if you're not familiar with it yet, burst means a quick damage, quick damage. Like, you do a lot of damage in a very quick succession. Then you also have sustained damage, right? In case you're very new to MOBA, sustained damage means sustain, as in you're sustaining it, through a long duration, you're continuously dealing damage. Kennen has no sustained damage. He doesn't, okay? He has continuous bursts of burst damage. Yeah, that's why it's called bursts. Because his passive, when you hit 3 abilities on an enemy, you stun the enemy like that. You stun the enemy for 1.5 seconds, and you've dealt quite a lot of damage if you've hit 3 abilities on an enemy. And so besides the quick bursts that Kennen has, he also has that also famous super duper burst, which is the ultimate, guys. And obviously you have to play around the ultimate. This is basically like 70% of Kennen. If you screw up his ultimate, you've lost 70% of your champion's potential. So how do you make maximum usage of the ultimate? This ability is an ability that the enemy is going to be absolutely afraid of. And what that means is they're going to try to avoid it whatever it costs. They're always going to be trying to avoid that ultimate whenever they can. So you need to come in when they expect it the least. Right? You need to be coming in as a surprise, and then boom, use your ultimate in the middle of them. Take a look at this. I'm waiting with the ultimate. Look at this. They're all just chilling in lane. Boom. I go in their backline. I kill the Veigar. I stun this guy. This is how you play Kennen. You have to come when they expected the least. They were just chilling in mid lane. They had no vision in that bush. I flash in with the ultimate and everything like that. That is exactly how you play Kennen, guys. That is the way that you need to surprise the enemy. Come on, ignite. Not quite, but that is exactly how you play it. So how do you surprise the enemy? First of all, you can actually choose to go for a sweeper on Kennen instead of the ward. Let me show you guys. This is a ward, if you didn't know. You can also get a sweeper, which is the red helicopter. You can actually go for the sweeper on Kennen, and what's gonna happen then is you can sweep out a bush, so you know that the enemies cannot see you, and then you wait. You go in that bush and you wait. And tell your team that you want to fight close to that bush. Because what's going to happen is if your team fights, enemy's going to be like, okay, where is Kennen? We don't see Kennen, but yeah, he's probably not here, right? Then you're going to show up out of that bush, you're going to flash in the middle of them, and you're going to kill them all. Because they're never going to see you coming. Your ultimate is going to stun all of them. And it's going to deal huge damage. Huge, huge damage. So that is basically the perfect scenario on Kennen. Of course, you're almost never going to get the perfect scenario, right? Otherwise, Kennen would be broken. So a good scenario is just to use your third ability and then use your ultimate, just like this. This is the good scenario, like a normal scenario, to be honest. Like as I said, enemies are going to expect you to come, right? So the best way to handle that is to just engage with your third ability. Come on, nice. Engage with your third ability and then use your ultimate when you're super close to the enemy. Basically that, right? Like that's basically it. Let me just fix my green screen real quick. There it is. So yeah. Oh, I got the Infinity Orb, by the way. This is a nice little power spike to get on Kennen. Like these two items, Rabadon's Death Cap Infinity Orb, sorry. So good. And in this game, as you can see, I actually chose to go for the Protobelt enchant instead of the Stasis enchant. Because I was like, I'm snowballing. I'm snowballing this game. And even though Kennen is a late game champion, you can of course still, you know, win the early game. So if you're winning the early game, you can choose to snowball, to extend your lead at the cost of your late game. Because Stasis Enchant is a better rune, a better enchantment in the late game. It's just better. You're gonna make much more use out of it. But Proto Belt is gonna be way better in the early and mid game. As you can see, it allowed me to get close to that guy and we kill him. Come on. Look at that. He survives. I didn't want to waste my flash to just kill him. Yeah. So Protobot allows you to get closer to the enemies in the middle of a fight. I'm using my ultimate here, by the way. I screwed up. I screwed up. I screwed up. Nice. I'm alive. But keep in mind, it's risky. Because if you don't have a stasis enchant, of course, if you get caught in the wrong position, you're dead. Because Protobot is not going to save you from 5 enemies demolishing you. But stasis is, of course. So you have to weigh that off, right? Like, do I want this or do I want that? So in this game, I wanted the Protobot. I wanted the bonus offensive capability. Kennen, by the way, is the most broken absolute late game champion, but it's not going to be easy to get to that very late game, because as I said, Kennen has no sustain damage, which is very often necessary in fights, right? Because if you do screw up Kennen, he's basically like an all-in champion, and it becomes easier and easier to play him when you get to the later game. But in the early game, you really have to hit those good ultimates to make him work. If you do not hit those good ultimates, your team is basically left in a 4 versus 5. And this is what makes Kennen quite a weak early game champion. And this is what you have, like this risk you have to minimize by, as I said earlier, not using your ultimate before the first dragon. Because not having your ultimate before the first dragon is absolutely horrible. It basically puts your team into a 4 versus 5 situation. Of course, you still have your basic abilities, but those really don't do much in a team fight. Let me tell you guys, those abilities really don't do much in team fights. So, you know, be really wary about your ultimate, because that is your ability. Now let's take a look at this. We see 2 innocent players right here. I just one-shot the Ezreal with my Protobelt, by the way. I got a kill. So my ultimate right now is on a 74-second cooldown, which is, you know, it's not the highest, but still pretty high. But when you get to the later game, when you get level 13 and fully upgrade your ultimate, I believe the cooldown is going to be like 60 seconds, maybe 55. It's just going to be pretty low. So you can actually play around with the ultimate a little more then. So, you know, as I said, when you get to the late game, your risk is lowering because first of all, your ultimate is going to be on a lower and lower cooldown. And secondly, your ultimate is pretty much going to one-shot the enemy. So in the early game, you use your ultimate for the stun, but in the late game, you use it for the damage. Because in the late game, it also stuns the enemy, of course, but your damage is going to be so much that it's just like, it's absolutely insane. Now let's take a look at this. Don't have my ultimate, but the Janna is just doing such a good job as well in this game, you know, giving me those shields. Really, really good to see those shields from him. Nice. Like, as you can see, I'm pretty useless right now because I don't have that ultimate. You can clearly see how bad. Oh my god, oh my god. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, I'm 100% sure that I had a little too much alcohol this evening. Yep. That's the, yeah, definitely. I mean, now, okay, let me explain to you guys what I was thinking there. Like, let's be real. So, I think I didn't. Was it the Morgana that gave the Ezreal a shield? Because Ezreal had a shield. I just was kind of limit testing. I wanted to engage with my Flash and Protobelt, do third ability, second ability, first ability, stun the Ezreal and kill him with my Infinity Orb. I just, you know, I knew it was not a good idea. I just kind of wanted to limit test because, as I said, with the Protobelt, you can be very aggressive. So I was kind of limit testing myself right there. So in this game, I got the item Banshee's Feel, whatever it's called. The item that gives you the shield. The reason that I got this item is because they have a Veigar who has that third ability, and they have a Morgana who has the longest route in the game. I don't want to be dealing with that, so I'm just sacrificing a little bit of my damage for this. Also, the enemy has a lot of ability power. Again, they have a Veigar, they have they have a Morgana, and I believe they have another ability power champion. So I'm getting magic resist. Banshee's Fuel gives you ability power and magic resist, which is of course insane here. Take a look at my positioning here. I'm not helping them with the dragon. What am I doing? I'm waiting in a bush. Look. This is what Kennen does. Now take a look at this guy. Boom. What can he do? Oh my god, no way. No way. He survived. That is sad. He actually survived that. Wow. Normally I would kill him, but he actually survived with 1 HP. He used everything. But there you can clearly see in the late game, I mean we're in the mid game right now, but in the late game I would have one-shot him. You can already see even in the mid game it pretty much one-shots him. It takes like 2 seconds to kill the enemy. In the late game it's gonna be a half of a second. So waiting in a bush like that, you can get free kills with Kennen. And your ultimate is gonna be on a low cooldown. You know, it's gonna be on a very low cooldown, so you can do it again very soon. So this is kind of what has to be your playstyle as a Kennen, right? Catching off enemies with that ultimate, engaging on enemies when they don't expect you to come, just you know being a sneaky little Kennen. That's what you want to be. Very, very sneaky. And the thing is with Kennen, it can actually be better to leave your team in a 4 versus 5 fight in the beginning, and then entering the fight very much later. You know, you can enter the fight much later because then the enemy is already going to be a little low and you're pretty much going to one-shot everyone. Oh baby, oh baby. Did you see that amazing engage right there, by the way? This is why I said that I like Protobelt in certain situations, like this one. This was the absolute perfect moment for Protobelt enchant. Did you see that? Like, how the Protobelt just absolutely demolished the enemy right there? A sec. There it is. GG, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this Kennen video. I had a lot of fun playing Kennen. Let's take a look at how much damage I did and everything like that. Let's take a look. Plus 15. Huh, I was actually getting plus 15 here. Now I'm getting plus 11, so that's pretty sad. It's 37,000 damage. I even did. Look at this. Our kill is level 15. He's 2 levels ahead of me, and I still dealt way more. Oh, oops! I still dealt way more damage than him. By the way, you know, this was like I made this Kennen video in the very first day of the new patch, so that's why everyone was still pretty low rank. It was like I made that Kennen video like 2 weeks ago or something. So thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, I will see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Bye bye.